All right, let's hear it.
Tell me what category of fat I fit in.
Based on what level of privilege you have in the world. Someone in a small fat category may not struggle.
A small fat category?
What the fuck is small fat? You're either fat or you're not. You're either fat, you're overweight, you're fat, or you're obese. Obese is the level of you're actively killing yourself with your own body weight. Overweight is like, I'm supposed to be 150, but I'm like 160. Or like 170. Fat is like that in between that you haven't quite cusped over to obesity yet, but you're still like gonna end up that way.
So now they're oh wow. So now we're already getting into the next level. So like basically like it's like now you got small fat. Yeah, it's like an atom, right? They're splitting the atom.
They're trying to reinvent the wheel.
On an airplane.
The opposite.
But someone in a mid-fat or super fat
In a mid-fat or super fat.
may not be able to use even the airplane extender. So
Well, then you don't need... Like, if you have to use an airplane extender to sit your fat ass into an airplane, maybe you should work on losing weight before you go somewhere, huh? Maybe that's a you problem.
that's
Jesus.
where that comes in, and like the privilege levels of like what fat means to different people.
Cope harder. Oh my goodness. You guys ever seen the movie
Holy
Wall-E?
shit.
That is an exact physical representation
Damn.
of what's to come in the near future. Nobody in that room is under 300 pounds talking about the privilege it is to fit in an airplane seat. How about the privilege it is to overconsume on calories? You guys aren't getting...
Like, I run every day to try and like burn as much weight as I can. There are models that wish every day they could eat whatever they want, but they have to keep their bodies thin. They have to fight the cravings mentally every time they see something they really want to eat. It's not a privilege, it's a fucking effort. And it's and that's what I really can't stand that shit of like, well, you get to sit in the, you're privileged if you get to, no. It's because of all the hard work and effort they put. It's like this fat mentality of, well, I want to be like that recent that jeans commercial that went like super mega viral and all the fat people were hating on it. And it's like, you realize what kind of effort she has to put into her body to look like that at her age? How much willpower it takes to keep the food out of your mouth? And you want to shit on her? Fuck yourself. Just because you're fat and you can't control yourself doesn't give you the right to shit on people who are actively trying every single day they wake up, every waking moment, fighting down cravings that they obviously have. That doesn't give you the right to do that. That's what makes me so angry with these people of like, well, you know, the fat acceptance and da-da-da-da-da, and it's like, nah, bitch, you killing yourself. Shut up. You're stupid. There's a reason why all these people, whenever they finally get wealthy off of it, like you can even go back and see some movie stars that were bigger and they had this like body positivity bullshit. And guess what? Now they're millionaires and they lost all the weight and they're not in public eye anymore. You know why? Because they know. They know what kind of backlash they would face. They know. It's bullshit.
How oppressed you are, thinking you're marginalized? No, you're just not in a calorie deficit. Like, come on, you guys put yourself in these boxes thinking you need some sort of movement. No, you need movement. Cope harder because gravity is
Damn!
at the end of the day.
Oh my god.
Bro!
This guy just went in, huh?
Based on what
Oh my
level of
God.
privilege you have in the world. Someone in a small fat category may not
You can get a bunch of food. You can get a ton of fucking food. The problem since 1964. So it could actually be no job. 19 food stamps. Before shocked, food been fully stopped working. No, the SNAP program, formerly known as food stamps, has never been fully stopped or suspended nationwide since 1964. So
Jesus.
it could actually be no job. This is
how it looks too. This is exactly how it looks. Like, you could have like 7 kids from like 7 different men, and your cart's gonna look like this, but you have a job and you're on your own and you're trying to live in this world, and you make just enough not to be able to get food stamps, or the amount that you get is not even worth the fucking headache to get the food stamps, and your cart just looks like this. Like, it's so annoying. Like, I had food stamps whenever I had my own apartment, and I had $80 a month. What the fuck am I supposed to do with $80 a month, bro? It was such a pain in the ass, I just decided not to deal with it anymore.
I think this is a big...
Because you have to go to the office for it, you got to deal with the person, you got to submit these documents and forms, and I was like, dude, I ain't got money to do all this shit.
problem. I do. This is... And
I didn't even have a damn vehicle.
The big issue with this is very simple. The cutoff for food stamps should be at a higher income ratio. So basically, if you're getting food stamps right now, you basically have to be broke. But if you're...
Bro, I remember when $300 would fill up 2 carts of food. Like, we would get food stamps, me and my mom, and then we would get, well, like, I did get it, my mom had it for me, and then she would, like, get, like, 2 carts full of food.
broke, you can get a bunch of food. You can get a ton of fucking food. The problem is
like,
that...
it's the most basic fucking necessity.
Only people that are able to get this are broke as shit. And maybe
I was broke, and I couldn't and I barely got any food stamps. Like, I would go to the store and get maybe like 10 items, and then that was it, with $80.
this many poor people, right? So maybe this many poor people are able to get food stamps. And what I think they should do, this is the problem, because there's a lot of, in my opinion, there's a lot of...
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, what's the best way for me to say this? There's a lot of class-friendly fire here, okay? And the reason...
That's what a lot of people don't seem to understand when it comes to this, like, whole mess that they're protesting. They shouldn't be protesting because of ICE. They should be protesting because of upper and middle and lower class inequality. You realize that the 1% is hoarding so much wealth, and they're so privileged being in this country because they don't have to worry about a freaking warlord marching their way up their driveway, killing them and taking all their money and stuff. They're in one of the most privileged countries in the world to allow that assortment amassed wealth just for them to make it hard for somebody to even buy fucking groceries. And then them hire illegal immigrant workers that are obviously putting even more of a strain on the country. It's not a war between these illegal immigrants and races. It's a war between upper and lower class. That's what it is. It is the diversity of becoming wealthy now is so impossible. You are better. You have a better chance of being born into it than you do of actually becoming wealthy.
Why? Like, for example, like the person making $20,000 getting food stamps isn't your enemy when you're making $45,000 not getting food stamps.
Mm-hmm.
Your enemy is the billionaires spending $45,000 a day on bullshit. Those are your real
and they're also the people that are keeping you at your low wage. You see, Hector, who's working for $1.25 an hour or a day here in the U.S., isn't the one keeping his pay at $1.25. It's the corporation. It's the big CEO and the chairman that are doing this.
Those are the people that are taking your fucking money. Those are the people that need to be taxed. And that's the issue. And so what needs to happen is they need to take the food stamps and they need to increase the threshold for food stamps to here and here. And maybe even here. Because really, yeah, if you're doing well, you don't need food stamps. But the problem is whenever you make the middle class hate the working class, or you make the upper working class hate the lower class, what ends up happening is that you have this class warfare, while at the same time, you have all of these rich people making billions of dollars. Yep. We're spending literally $1 trillion on the military. We're spending $1 trillion on the military. And
to give you an idea, some of the richest people in America could single-handedly fund the military without even breaking a sweat. And you're worried about them trying to get some cookies at a Costco. You realize that there is enough wealth in the 1% that they could cut $1 million for every American in the U.S. and still have more than enough money left over. To give you an idea, There was an ad broker last year where they did an analysis on how much a company paid on advertising. They spent $500 million on advertising. There are 300 million U.S. citizens. They had enough money to spend to give every American $1 million and have enough left over to do with whatever they wanted. What the fuck are you doing with all this money? There are people that are starving to death on our own streets. And you're so worried about scraping together even more money, you're willing to start this weird class warfare over illegal immigration for these people that you want to pay $1.25 an hour. What the fuck are you doing? Hello? What are you doing with all this money? Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Come on, guys.
Okay, every 3 days, we blow up a boat in Venezuela. Great. I feel like I think we need a little bit more than that. Right? We need a little bit more than that. Use food stamps? Yeah, I used to use food stamps. I did. And so, actually a good take, yes. And so, in my opinion, this is what I think they should do. People might not like this. I think they should raise taxes on people that make a lot of money. I think there should probably be 2 additional tax brackets above the, what is it now, like 400 or something like that, tax brackets. There should be 2 additional tax brackets above that. So, because again, inflation, like you need to have a tax bracket for people that are making, let's say, over $5 million a year. Then you should probably have an additional tax bracket for people that are making over $30 million a year, right? And if you were able to do that, you would capture so much more revenue and you would be able to pay for more stuff. And socialism? What do you mean? The taxes right now by that definition are socialism. What do you mean? We already have it by your definition. What a stupid thing to say. So 90% of taxes have caused war. I'm not saying it should be 90%. I'm just saying it should be more than what it is now. I think this is my outlook, okay? If you're making $20 million a year.
You realize that if you're spending $5 million in your lifetime on anything other than like the bare necessities, like the bare essentials, you're living privileged. I think that if you were to live on the streets and you have a decent job that pays you like $35,000 a year and you don't spend it on anything, you'd probably have a couple $100,000 that you could live off of. You understand how much money goes towards your necessities now, not even just food? Your rent, which is a necessity, is $1,000 a month. Even more than that. Your lights are $300 a month, especially in a hotter place like Texas where you have to run the AC constantly. Your food bill is like $400 a month. Your just the ability to have a vehicle, which is a necessity, even though driving is a privilege, is like almost $500 if you're lucky enough to save up enough money to get a used vehicle. But if you don't, it's $500 roughly with good credit a month on a brand new vehicle. Not to mention your insurance, which is $200 a month. And that's like $4,000 every 6 months. You understand how much money it costs just to function now? It's crazy.
You can afford to chip in a little bit extra because the only reason
that's right, Roach King,
you don't need to have armed security all around your fucking house and people aren't coming into your house and killing you is because this isn't there's not a Ugandan warlord who's showing up to try to kill you and take all your stuff, is because you live in this country. And if you live in this country,
your ass needs to be paying more taxes. 100,000%. I feel like the poorer you are, the less taxes you should be paying. The richer you are, you best be loading up on fucking taxes. Enough of this fucking loophole system of these people getting out of paying, these rich people getting out of paying taxes by donating to all these charities, because that's a tax write-off for most people. Now, it's illegal, yes, but they still do it anyway. You know why? Because they probably just pay the police to turn a blind eye. Like, let's be honest here. When you amass such an amount of wealth and you're donating to the police department, they tend to be on your side in a biased way. Oddly enough. Like, come on.
This country allows you to protect and generate the wealth of $20, $30, $50 million a year. You're goddamn right. I think you got to chip in a little bit more.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Brotherhood all the way, baby.
And
Let's
I think
go.
if you're a company, the same
Ad
fucking
Victorum.
thing. That's the real problem. So when all I hear this food stamp bullshit, and it's like, oh yeah, no, this person isn't your fucking enemy. The person who advocated for this is your fucking enemy. That's it. That's the real problem. And I know some people might not want to hear this because it sounds like the bad word, socialism. We have Social Security. Last time I checked, I think that's pretty good. We have a lot of social programs that are positive. Looking at anything that has any sort of wealth redistribution and then automatically categorizing that as bad is the most retarded and lazy way of thinking about things that you can possibly have. Obviously, it's retarded that you have people that are making enough money and they're making just enough money to get by, but at the same time, they can't afford fucking food.
Yep.
And it's ridiculous that people that are making no money can fill up their entire shopping cart with cheese balls. Like, I mean, really?
You realize that you work sometimes 12 hours a day, right? And for some people, like, you work 6 days a week. Sometimes you work the full 7. Is it so much to ask for being able to go to the store and buy some fucking cheese balls to eat them without having to worry about your rent being paid? Is it so much to ask? These people act like just allowing somebody to get some fucking cheese balls to sit down and put a smile on their face is just, you're asking for so fucking much. It makes no sense. Like, you really have to squeeze as much money as you can out of every fucking human being you can, so you can sit there and hoard that wealth and do nothing with it. It's so disgusting.
Like, this is a clown world. It's a clown world. What is going on here? This would be solved better by reducing tax on income for lower income jobs rather than giving the government more agency on how much you get. Lower taxes on low-income jobs. Well, a lot of people get tax refunds.
The issue is that I don't agree with if you don't have, like, for example, I don't have currently a job, and I'm not using any governmental benefits because I don't like that. I was a firefighter. I've got a lot of pride in what I do. So, like, for me, I just don't want that. Now, whenever I was in high school, and I had to, pay for my own apartment, and I was walking back and forth for my job, yeah, I had to. But the amount was so little that it didn't matter. $80 a month 3 years ago wasn't shit. It's even less shit now. It was more than 3 years ago. It was like 10, if I'm being honest. But it upsets me whenever I hear of Claudia, who has been knocked up by 7 men and has 7 different children, and she gets to have 3 carts of groceries, and she doesn't even have to work, and I gotta walk my bitch ass to work, and I can't even afford anything. Like, that's my view on it. It's stupid. Like, if they were to cut EBT benefits, it would put a smile on my face to know that these clods that do this aren't gonna get any money from it anymore. I'm 100% okay with that. Because fuck them. Seriously. You are giving them a reason to get knocked up by 7 people and have 7 kids and pretty much mooch off of the system that's already collapsing. Fuck them. Seriously. Enough of that.
Definitely, you could look at that. I mean, I
have struggled every day of my life, and I couldn't get the benefits that I needed because some clodhopper fucking assholes like the people that get them big-ass carts with all them kids get. I had to eat ramen soup and walk to work, and I was like that big around. Practically starving to death. The system has been busted for years, it's just really showing now.
What you're saying, but I think that you should approach it with like 3 different directions, right? So yeah, you used to be in it. Exactly. And I was buying cheese balls. I was buying cheese balls. I know this better than almost anybody. But
what I don't agree with is I'm not 100% with them taking it away, but I feel like if you're on these benefits, you need to have a job, period. And it has to be a full-time job. No exception.
Quote socialists or a lot of these commentators on the internet, they've never been on food stamps before. They don't actually know what this is like. They have no idea. We used to be on food stamps. We used to be on these supplemental assistance programs. We used to have the medical fucking assistance program. We used to have this. We couldn't even afford heat in the fucking in the winter.
You know,
right?
It's funny that he says that because at least he had electricity. Bro, there was a lot of times whenever I was growing up in my trailer with my mom where it would get so cold in Louisiana that we would be sitting down watching something or doing something, and we weren't necessarily watching something. We had we would usually have a little battery or something that we could use to charge a phone, not like a smartphone, but like a phone, like a flip phone, and we would play a cell phone game on it, or I would read comics that I'd get from my neighbor or something. But it would get so fucking cold in that trailer that you could see your breath while you're sitting down and doing stuff. It sucked so bad.
And so, really, we were poor. Now, could it have been a lot worse? Yeah, it could have been a lot worse. And it wasn't, which was great. But the fact
we used to use the stove when we had power to heat up the trailer. But then one night, the fucking stove, the little rebar that was on the inside, it fucking arced and broke, and it caused it to catch on fire. Luckily, we had a fire extinguisher right next to the stove, and we put it out. But then we had no heater, and it sucked.
I remember what these benefits did for me. And I'm never going to roach out on the people for these benefits. I'm never going to say, oh, and I'm even going to go a step farther. I think it's okay if they want to buy cookies with food stamps because
I agree with that. I agree with that because the thing is a lot of these people don't have anything. They're working themselves. Some of these people, some of these actual hard workers that are working, 12 hours a day, 6 hours a day, however many, 6 days a week, 7 days a week, they have a full-time job where they're making 40 hours. You can work 6 hours a day, but you have to work 6 days straight. I know because I've been there. I've done it. You can work 12 hours a day and still have to work 6 days straight. I've had to do that too. It happens. But at the end, whenever you finally get paid out and you notice that the government's taking a lot of money out in taxes and you're like, okay, what the fuck? So much for that. And then you still aren't able to get food. The least you can do as a government is allow these people to get something to entertain themselves. Whether that would be the basic necessities of giving them housing or just allowing them to get some food. If that's what entertains them, then let them have it. Jesus Christ, why pinch the bottom so hard that they can't even enjoy their lifestyle even though it's already shit? It's crap.
It's just cookies, man. Let a person have a little bit of dignity. Really. Let them have a little bit of fucking dignity.
Right?
They want to buy cookies and fast food. Why make them live like that? People don't have the choice. Yeah, let them have a little bit of... This is America. This is the richest country in the world. Let them buy the fucking cookies. It's all right. We've got enough cookies to go around. We do. There's no reason we got to be rationing out cookies. That's what I think. Somebody wants to be fat, they need to do better, not the richest. Well, yeah, I think so. I do. I think so. That's where I'm at. We don't need cookies. Yeah, there's a lot of things you don't need, but you want them.
I'm fine. I don't mind if people want to have a conversation with how things are run. The problem is whenever you try to correct somebody. That's the issue that I'm running into quite a bit, even with a lot of online comments. It's they're so ready to just lie about everything that they find to prove some weird point that makes the mental gymnastics are real with a lot of stuff. But when they start lying, I usually just end up removing comments because I'm you're lying, dude. You're not going to be honest. You're being dishonest. I'm trying to have an actual genuine conversation and then you just turn around and lie. I'm just going to remove comments. like I love sitting down and debating with somebody, but then whenever they turn to like lying or deceitfulness, that I'm just like, you're not doing yourself any favors, you know? And that's what really kind of bothers me with a lot of like you can debate, I'm fine with that. Just don't threaten anybody. Like, we can sit down, we can get along. Everyone can get along. We don't have to have the same fucking opinion. We don't. We can get along, bro. We did it for generations. What happened? Why? You know? We don't have to call for violence. We don't have to do this. It's a democracy. We can debate. Let's talk about it. Let's see where the other person's coming from. Like, you don't have to be violent. There's no need.
It makes you feel good, it makes you happy. And feeling good at being happy, I think that's nice. And I want to have a world where that happens.
Like, I don't agree with what Trump is doing. I don't agree with some. I do like the immigration. I didn't think he was going to do it, but some people don't agree with that, and that's fine. You don't have to. I didn't vote for him. I didn't vote for either one of the candidates because I thought they were both clowns. I still think Trump was a clown because so far it's been talk and no do, but that's just what I've observed. And that's the reason why in 30 years I've never voted for a candidate, because I'm tired of being handed two shit candidates and told, pick the lesser of two evils. And I'm like, bro, neither one of these clowns want to do, like, you're asking me to pick which one of these is going to hurt me more. I mean, like, come on. Like, you can watch Hassan, you can watch Destiny, but what you shouldn't do is advocate for death. Like, I even thought about sometime watching Hassan just to get, like, the other side of the spectrum. Because I stumbled onto Asman first. But holy shit, it's already 11:23, what the fuck? I just don't understand how you can advocate for death and violence. It's just wrong. It's wrong.
People to live like fucking slaves. There's no reason for that. There's no justification for that at all. We got so much money. This is the wealthiest country in the world by a mile. Junk food is a privilege? You're goddamn right it is. You're goddamn right it is. And you know what else is a privilege? Being a fucking American.
Like, what's really sad is I did believe in a lot of what the Democrats stood for. I was raised a Democrat. My mom would always say, we're too poor to vote Republican. But now whenever I think of the Democrats, it's a shell of its former self. Like, I'm just sad by it, because, like, how is it that they've lost their way so much that the Republicans are advocating for things that the Americans want? We all know they're doing shit behind closed doors that aren't what Americans want, but I mean, either side could do that. It's just sad to see the state of things. Both of them.
That's right. And I used to buy it, and I'm never going to go back on that, because I did it myself. I did it myself, and it made me feel good, and I enjoyed it.
And he's right. Like, whenever I was by myself in my apartment, and I was able to use my $80 to buy, like, some cookies or some ice cream, that was like $6. Being able to sit there at the end of a long week or at the end of a long day and eat something that made me happy could mean the world for somebody who's just trying to take it one day at a time. Why take away the most simple and basic pleasures? It makes no sense. It's sad. I kind of think Hassan is too, but he's never going to say that. But that's just me. But, like, maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Maybe he's just somebody that got... You know, I'm not going to say that. I personally think that Hassan cultivated an audience that he didn't think was going to turn on him, but it did. He saw that he was getting a lot of viewership with this ideal that he had, and he just kind of took it and ran, not realizing how volatile it was. That's genuinely what I think. I don't think he's actually that way. I don't. I can't actually say that and say that I'm okay with that. I think that he definitely, a lot of his stances now are because if he doesn't have those stances, his audience is going to cannibalize him. I seriously think that. I really wholeheartedly do. They don't. They never have and they never will. You know why? Because the corporations are lining their pockets and they're using a lot of insider trading. So they're amassing wealth, and the poor people are just going to stay where they're at until either there's a class revolution or the government fully collapses on itself because money's worthless.
It made me happy. I know how it made me feel, and I'd want to make sure other people have the same thing. It's literally that simple. So yeah, and not all Americans are equal. No, of course not. But the law should treat them that way.
Amen.
And that's the difference, right? And so anyway, you got a lot of people.
I want to come on here and say to you people.
What is this?
That be standing in front of the stores and the Good Samaritans and all of that.